Holy shit, guys, this is it. We actually, there are 300 subscribers. I just don't know what to say. I mean, I didn't really plan on making like a 300 subscriber special video. Last night I was at 299. I tweeted out to internet comment etiquette and just some random people like, hey, you want to be my number 300 and I'll pay you some sub bots from India. But it looks like it paid off because I'm now at 302, which is amazing. So seriously, guys, thank you so much. I'm really, really happy that you guys are subscribing and liking the content and the channel. The views are going up, the likes are going up, so everything is amazing. I remember not too long ago I was doing my 200 subscribers special and I thought, wow, probably gonna take like another year for me to hit 300, and now I'm already up at 300. I was also watching the Social Blaze really, and it looks like we're gonna hit 1,000 probably early next year, which is mind-blowing for me. Like, I never thought I could hit 1,000, so I'm gonna work extra hard to make that happen. So that's it today. I thought we'd do a little something I haven't done for a while, and that's do another tier list. I was thinking of ideas for a tier list, and I think what I'm gonna do is give you my tier list of my favorite bands ever. So without further ado, I'm gonna open up Photoshop here, and we're gonna do a tier list of my favorite bands. Alright, so I got Photoshop set up here. I got a couple artists here. They're all sorted in alphabetical order. So this is in no way a whole list of all the artists I like. It's just a condensed version. So we're gonna start with 50 Cent. People are probably gonna think that this entry doesn't really fit in with the rest, but I actually like 50 Cent's work a lot. I've never been too keen on the whole rap persona thing, but his music had a lot of groove. I liked his style. I liked his raps. One thing I can say about that as well is as you grow up, you sort of start to realize that these little wars between styles and bands and genres is bullshit, and you can just like what you like. So I'm gonna drop 50 into C class for now. Alexis on Fire I'm also gonna put on a C level. Angels and Airwaves. Angels and Airwaves is an offshoot of Blink 182. It's Tom DeLonge's new band after he left Blink. I've always liked how he creates really rich songs in Angels and Airwaves, how he adds a lot of atmospheric stuff in there and guitar playing that he brings from Blink and from other inspirations. I think it's really nice. So as far as I'm concerned, Angels and Airwaves is an A-class band. It's not quite at like that superstar level, but it's really in my top band. A Blink 182, I don't think we gotta talk too much about that one. You guys know that I built my channel around Blink 182, so it's my favorite band in the whole wide world, so they gotta be an S tier band for me. Breaking Benjamin is a band that I really followed in the late 2000s and early 2010s. I sort of lost track of them for a while, and then I started listening to them again a couple years ago. I really like how Benjamin Burnley's vocals are just really powerful, and if you actually get a chance to go on YouTube and watch some of the videos of him playing acoustic and unplugged where there's no editing, this guy's voice is really on key. He's really, really good. So anyway, Breaking Benjamin, I think they sort of went off the wagon for a while. I'm gonna grade them a B tier because I really like their stuff, but maybe not all the way up to like an S or an A tier. But Bring Me the Horizon is one of these controversial bands, I think, because their style has really evolved throughout the years. A lot of people used to like Bring Me the Horizon a lot when they were more like deathcore, and now they're really transitioned more into like pop with guitars. In my case, it's quite the opposite. I didn't like the deathcore scene so much. When it transitioned to the more pop and electronic, and I really like their new stuff, like anything from Sempiternal and onwards, I think is really, really good. So I'm gonna grade Bring Me the Horizon A tier. So here's the second hip-hop artist on the list. It's Eminem, obviously. Every white boy from the early 2000s has to have listened to some Eminem and liked him to a degree. I actually like his early stuff a lot. The Slim Shady LP, the Marshall Mathers. To me, it started really going down with the Eminem Show. Eminem Show and Encore were still good, and then everything onwards from that I don't really like. So I'm gonna put Eminem with 50 here in the C tier. Foo Fighters is another one of these great bands, and what I really love about Foo Fighters is not so much their music as much as what it represents. So obviously the music in Foo Fighters is really good, but I like that Foo Fighters is a band that is keeping the spirit of Nirvana alive. So for that, I'm going to put them at a B tier. Korn is my second greatest love in life after Blink 182. These two bands are really the two bands that define me as a musician, and they're the bands that I've loved the most. I was actually super lucky when I turned 30. I went to a festival where Blink and Korn were playing one after the other. Essentially, my birthday is June 24th. Last show on June 23rd, Korn, and then the first show on the 24th at like midnight was Blink. So I essentially turned 30 between Korn and Blink, which to me was like a magical thing. Alright, next band, Linkin Park. I'm not gonna have to explain too much. I like their early stuff, Meteora and Hybrid Theory, obviously. don't really like the new Linkin Park stuff. It can sound weird when I said that I like Bring Me the Horizon when they became more pop. Well, for Linkin Park, it's the exact opposite. I really like their heavier, more new metal stuff. The pop stuff, I think it's too generic. Obviously, rest in peace, Chester. No one should take their own lives. Marilyn Manson has got to be another A-tier band for me. I've told this in a couple of videos before, but when I was young, I was actually in a Marilyn Manson cover band. I like the theatrics in Marilyn Manson. I don't like his most recent music. I think his last great album was Golden Age of Grotesque, but the theatrics and what he does, I think, are just on point and amazing. And this is really a great show to watch, and that's why I've always loved Marilyn Manson. Now, Metallica, I'm probably gonna get beaten up over, but the reason why it's in there in my favorite bands list is because it's the band that I've always loved to hate. So what you have to understand is I don't really hate Metallica per se, although I don't really like what they did with the Napster thing. When I was young, everyone loved Metallica, and everyone wanted to play guitar leads because they loved it, and I sort of always felt pressure to learn how to play leads, which I didn't want to do because none of the music that I like had really any lead in it, and Metallica became like this focus point of what I didn't want to be in life. So, but obviously it's all in good fun. I like some Metallica stuff. I just wanted to put it in there and get some hate going. Nirvana, on the other hand, is exactly what I think a rock band should be. I love Kurt Cobain so much. I love his message. I love his music. I'm really sad that he passed away and that he killed himself. I wish he was still around and making music. So there's not much more I'm gonna say about that. Really iconic guys. Hope Chris and Dave continue to keep the tradition alive every now and then. Invite players in and play some Nirvana songs. I think that's really great. Papa Roach is one of these bands that I've always liked, and I don't really know why. Like, I don't think there's really anything special about Papa Roach. I've still always liked their thing. I think it's groovy and I like it, so I'm gonna give them a B tier. Prodigy is really one of my favorite electronic bands. If not my favorite electronics band, I'm gonna put them in A because I've always liked how they create electronic music. It almost sounds like they're doing it from a rock musician's perspective. It's hard to describe why, but maybe Adam Neely can get to the bottom of that and tell us why the music theory behind Prodigy makes them sound more like a rock band than electronic music. But anyway, rest in peace, Keith, another guy that went away too soon. Rage Against the Machine for me is another A-tier band. A lot of people would probably put them on the S level. To me, they're not an S level band just because I came into the whole Rage Against the Machine a bit later, and I'm gonna put them at an A tier, which is still like really up there. Rammstein is one of these bands that I like, but for more of a technical reasons. Like, when I've always liked how they fuse like metal and electronic sound. That's something that I took a lot of inspiration from. For me, Rammstein is really a B-grade band. Now, see, there's a band that I saw live for the first time in 2002. I didn't know anything about them. They were opening for Our Lady Peace. I was going through that show with one of my friends, and I discovered them there, and I just thought they were great, and I've loved them ever since, but I really couldn't tell you why, so I'm just gonna put them in the C tier category. Now, Simple Plan is a band that a lot of people like to dislike. For me, Simple Plan is really a very generic version of like Blink and all that pop punk stuff, but they're guys from home. I actually went to school in the same school that a lot of these guys went to, but to me, Simple Plan is just this C-grade band. Then Slipknot. Slipknot is the band that got me more into heavy music. So as you can tell, most of the music that I like to listen to isn't all that heavy, but Slipknot is probably one of the heaviest bands that I like, and they turned me on to a whole different side of music and rock. So to me, they have to be a B. State Champs is a band that I've discovered more recently. I just like how they're channeling the whole pop punk things from the 90s and early 2000s. I really like them. That's why they're in the list, and I'm going to give them a C grade because they're not obviously one of my favorite bands in the world. I came in so late to State Champ. And finally, Sum 41. Sum 41 is a hard one for me because they're Canadian, so I do have a special attachment to them. I like a lot of their songs. I've always thought that they were the Canadian Blink-182. There's something in Sum 41 that I think is very original in the sense that they brought in a lot of stuff from metal into pop punk, and they never went soft as opposed to other bands which sort of became softer as they grew older. I've always had like this nagging feeling that they were an off-brand Blink-182, so I can't quite put them at an S tier. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put Sum 41 here between an S and an A tier. So anyways, guys, that's been it for me. My voice is starting to give out again. Again, thank you so much for watching my videos. Thank you so much for subscribing. 302 of you guys right now subscribing. That is just amazing. Obviously, everything I said in this video, it's all meant in good fun. It's just my opinion. And with that said, guys, thank you again so much. And until next time, peace, guys.